Hello everyone, today is Friday, so it's time for another Friday read. It's the second video that I'm filming today because also yesterday the winner of the Booker Prize was announced and I have filmed a bit of thoughts on it, not exactly a reaction because I don't like to leave my thoughts unprocessed. If you're interested in that, you can go check it out. I would just say I was okay with the winner. I was not overly thrilled, but I was also not disappointed. So yeah, take it as you will. But with that said, we can look into the books that I read this week and the things that I'm planning to read next week. There are quite a few things going on next week, so I want to talk you through them. So the first thing I finished this week was Fire Sermon by Jamie Quattro, and this was basically the story of a failed marriage. So it's about these two people that got married when they were in their early 20s and then they realized that they were not meant for each other and how the relationship degrades based on that. And I think that the writing in this was really good. It was quite special, but the story itself was just quite standard, I would say. So I liked it, but it was nothing mind-blowing for me. But yeah, it was an interesting one. And then I also finished Caste by Isabel Wilkerson, which I was reading last week, and that one is a lot more interesting. So Caste is basically a non-fiction book about she's trying to compare the situation of Black people in America with the caste system in India, and also she argues that the treatment of the Jews in Europe last century was also reflective of the caste system. And I think it was a very interesting parallel that she drew there. I thought it made some very good points about how Black people is treated and how unfair and how nonsensical that is. And she also made quite a few points about what people assume from Black people. For example, it is often assumed that Black people are more prone to heart disease or things like that, and science has proved otherwise. Black people in America are more prone to those kind of things because they are under a lot of stress all of the time because of the police brutality and all those things, not because they are genetically designed to have heart diseases and diabetes. So she made some few points like that were really poignant, and I think they were very, very interesting. And I would recommend everyone to read it. I think that she did a great job, and I'm looking forward to read her other book. That one was for the Prompt Buzz in NonFiction November. That was very exciting. The other book that I read for the Buzz prompt for NonFiction November was The Ungrateful Refugee by Dina Nayeri, and this was also really, really good. So Dina Nayeri is an Iranian author that when she was young, when she was, I think, early teenage years maybe, she fled Iran with her mom and I think her brother as well, and they first ended up in Italy, and then they wanted to go to the UK because her grandmother lived there, but she was not able to sponsor them, and they ended up going into America, and then she grew up in America. And this is her story, but also she did quite some research on other refugee stories that she also puts in the book. So she switches back and forth between her story and the story of other people. And basically the writing style is really good, but also she shows how hard it is to be a refugee, and she focuses especially not in so much in the travel or in the hard situations on her country, but on the assimilation process and the paperwork and all of that. So it's divided in sections, and the first section is let me see, the escape, and that part is this part only. So yeah, it's more about once you are there, how hard it is to get your paperwork, and sometimes it takes like 10 years, 15 years to get refugee status. And that waits, when you are waiting for your paperwork to come through, you basically have to pause your life for maybe 10, 15 years. And how hard it is and how dehumanizing that is. And also, I mean, the camps themselves, they treat the refugees not that well. And then once, if you're lucky, you finally get the papers, how difficult it is to assimilate into a culture that is not yours. And then you think that you have to do all the most American things in this case, because she went to America, and you lose yourself in that sometimes. So yeah, I think that she gave a very powerful message on this. I also like that, well, her story, of course, it's between the US and the UK mostly, and a little bit of Italy, which is where she was in the camp. But during her research, she also looked into the Netherlands, because there was a few years ago, there was this case of asylum seeker in the Netherlands that was completely desperate about how his process was going. So he decided to go to Dam Square, which is the main square in Amsterdam, and set fire to himself as a form of protest. And she talks about that case here, and a bit more about why he was driven to do that, and what is the conditions in the Netherlands, which I think it's maybe quite one of the worst places in Europe to end up as a refugee. I'm not sure, I haven't researched that, but at least when she talks about the other places she has researched, the Netherlands looks pretty bad. But yeah, I like that she didn't concentrate only on her story, so that it gave it a more of a global feeling, and the fact that it's not like she was unlucky or anything. It's basically that's the experience of most refugees. So yeah, I would really recommend this book. I think it was really well written, I think it was really well researched, and her thoughts on the identities of refugees and what it feels to be in a country that doesn't really want you, how that feels. And that's also where the title comes from, because she says that often people expect you to be thankful that you were given asylum in a country, but they do not recognize the fact that yes, you're given asylum, but you are not really accepted in those communities, you're just tolerated, and how that feels. So yeah, I would really recommend that one. And then the last one I finished this week is Paradise by Toni Morrison. And this is divided in chapters, and each chapter follows a different woman in this community in the south. And we see how these women live and all the violence that they are exposed to. I find quite difficult to talk about this book because it is a very well written book. It's very powerful at points, but I have this problem with Toni Morrison. I really want to love all of her writing, but I just find very, very difficult to connect to her writing. I think that all the descriptive parts of it take me out of the story, and I feel like she always keeps me at a distance from her characters. I had that with Beloved as well. Not so much with The Bluest Eye. That one was easier for me to connect with. But in this one also, because we change, there are so many women there. I don't know, 8, 9, something like that. And we have a snippet of each of them every time. It is very hard for me to connect to all of them, and so at the end I feel disconnected from the book as a whole. So yeah, it's not my favorite Toni Morrison. I admire what she does, but the reading experience, I wish I could enjoy it more. I guess that's what I'm saying. And I read this for the Barter Horse Book Club, which we will have the discussion for this weekend. I'm really excited to see what other people thought about this, because I have a bit of a mixed feeling about this. I recognize its brilliancy, but I personally somehow do not enjoy it, if that makes sense. And then on the things that I'm reading, so I'm currently about 20% into Mr. Loverman by Bernadine Evaristo. I'm doing the audiobook for this one, but because I have been busy at work, and I also normally listen to audiobooks when I go running or walking, but in this last week my husband and I, we have been going for walks together, so of course I don't listen to anything, so I have only gone through, I don't know, a few hours of it. And so far I feel similarly as I felt with Girl, Woman, Other. Like, the story is very interesting and I am enjoying that part, but the characters are very unlikable, and I just and I don't connect with them. I think they're not people I can understand. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but that's how I feel so far about it. And then the other thing that I'm reading right now is Black and British by David Olusoga, and this is basically a black history, and it's concentrated in Europe, but also talks a lot about the slave trade in America, and I'm about half of the way through. And I'm enjoying it so far. It has a lot of, it's quite dense at parts. It has a lot of dates and it has a lot of data. But I am enjoying it. And I was surprised actually, because it starts around the 1500s, so Henry VIII, around that time. That's when most of the first encounters of black people in like art and other forms of in other forms that we have today were documented, but I suspect that black people have been in Europe for a lot longer than that, so I was surprised that it only went that far. Like, most of this is around like 16, 1700s. It's not exactly in chronological order, but it's roughly like that, so I don't expect that all of a sudden at the end we'll go to, I don't know, Middle Ages or whatever. So I was surprised about that, but whatever. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm hoping to finish it soon. There's a lot of notes at the end, so I have, I think, 200 pages left or something like that. So I might be able to finish it soon. I hope so, because there are several projects I want to take part on next week, and some other things that I want to read. So the first one that I'm going to start on Monday, it's Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu, and I hate this cover. I like the red one that of the hardback much better. This one is just weird. But yeah, it's what it is. This one, as far as I understand, it's about the experience of a Chinese actor in America, and it's written as a script. I don't know if you can see that. So it's meant to be very interesting, and it also won the National Book Award in the US on Wednesday. So I'm excited about this, and I'm buddy reading this with Rainier from Rainier Books, so I'm really excited to do that. And then tonight it's cozy reading night that Lauren from Lauren and the Books organizes, and I want to participate, and I also wanted to maybe vlog it. I don't know, let me know if you're interested on that. So the smart thing to do would be to finish this while it's cozy reading night, right? Because I might be able to get a big dent into it and everything, but it's not exactly a cozy read, so I was thinking to pick up something cozier that I have not been able to get to before, that I really want to. And the first thing that I have that it's not someone commented in my last video so Jose Saramago, Viaje, Portugal, I said like I might want to read it as a cozy read, and someone commented in the video like it must be the first time that someone calls Saramago cozy, and that made me laugh because it's true. Saramago is not a cozy reader, but maybe the better word to describe the thing that I think I'm gonna feel when reading this is nostalgia, because I read Jose Saramago when I was in my late teenage years, and because it's about Portugal and I visited Portugal and it has probably similar vibes to Spain, so I thought this might be a bit nostalgic to me, and in that sense it is cozy. So I wanted to read this during cozy reading night, but I know it's not the smart thing to do, so I don't know what I would do. And then the other thing that is happening next week is the HiBearNation that Simon from Savage Reads organizes, and that is going from this Saturday, 21st, until next week Sunday on the 29th of November. And he had some prompts for that, so I thought I might participate and also vlog it. That will be a lot of vlogs on a row, so let me know if that's too much for you. And maybe I should stop with the vlogs, just let me know. But yeah, the first prompt was green on the cover, and for that one I decided that it will be nice. I mean, I can use this one, which is also in my nonfiction November, so that will be the smart thing to do, right? But I have been really wanting to read Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend, which is the third book in the Morrigan Crow series, and that's a middle grade. So it should be fast and fun, which I'm in the mood for, so I might pick that up, and it's a very green cover. I don't know exactly the story of this one, but in the first one it's about this girl that is picked up by Jupiter North, who is like this person that has a hotel in Nevermore, which is this like imaginary world, and she has to go through lots of tests to see if she can stay in that place, and then it's her adventures after that, and it's very cozy and it's very nostalgic as well. It has that nostalgic, even if I have not read it as a child, it has that nostalgic feeling that Harry Potter has sometimes. So yeah, I am looking forward to that, and I will try to fit it in next week. So that's my first pick. The second prompt is something with vanishing or something mysterious in the title, and that fits perfectly because I need to read The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett for a book club that we have the discussion on the 29th of November, so at the end of the week. So it will be perfect for me to read throughout the week for the book club. So that's what I'm planning to read, and that one is about two sisters that are black, and one of them decides to pass as white, and the other one gets herself more embedded into the black culture. I have heard mixed things about this, so I don't know how I will fare with that, but I think it will be interesting for me because I have tried to read a lot about the concept of white passing, and I don't think I still completely understand it, because it's complicated for me to recognize who decides who's black and who's white, and how we define that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then the next prompt for the HiBearNation is something with a bird on the cover, and this does not have a bird, but it has feathers, so I think that counts. And that is An Orchestra of Minorities by Chigozie Obioma. And this one, as far as I understand, is sort of a love story set in Nigeria. I have also heard mixed things about it, but it has been in my to-read list for a while. And so I think I'm going to take this opportunity to read this one. Then the next prompt is like a sensational novel, or like something like that, like full of gritty details. And for that I have chosen The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo. And as I understand, this is about an American family, and they have several daughters, and it's about all the shenanigans and relationships between all of them. So I'm expecting it to have a lot of gritty stuff about family drama. So those are the main prompts for the readathon, and then the other two prompts. The first one is a sensational non-fiction, and for that I have chosen Africa's Tarnished Name by Chinua Achebe. This is a essay. It's like 50 pages, so it should be easy to get through, which is something good, since I have been choosing really big books for the other prompts, and so it can be quite controversial and spilling a lot of tea about how Africa is treated. So the next prompt is a book with an autumnal cover, and for that I have two possibilities. So the first one will be Interior Chinatown, because it's like green and yellow and red, which are kind of autumnal colors, I think. The other one I would really like to get to is Inland by Tea Obreth, and as far as I understand, this is set in Arizona, and it's about several people living on the fringes of society. And I think this is also quite an autumnal cover for me, and especially the back, right? I would really like to go into this, but since I'm not sure I would be able to read all of that, I have this as a backup because I have to read this anyway. So yeah, those are my books that I'm planning to read next week. I'm not sure if I would be able to, but I guess you'll see. And yeah, let me know if you want me to vlog it. Yeah, because I'm not sure if people are interested in vlogs. But yeah, let me know if you have read any of these other books and what you thought about them. And until next video, bye!